Now the country thing, which is like the total flip, was huge in the 90s. Huge. It was packed in the bars. It didn't matter what bar you're playing at. The country music thing was country rock. You know, it just took over like gangbusters, and you have to adapt to that as a musician. You can't just play your favorite style. You have to adapt, otherwise you're going to be left behind. Your style is going to go out of style, and you're going to be left there, you know, with your thumbs in the air, going, "What'll I do? What'll I do?" It's just, you have to adapt to the music, whether you like it or not. You have to find something you like about it. Country took over, and it pretty much wiped out most of the rock bars in town. And if you didn't adapt, you were basically sitting at home. You know, you couldn't do anything about it. You could sit there and stew about it and going, "I hate country. I hate country. I don't want to be country. Blah 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 blah." Plug your ears in that. But you know what? In the end, you had to do it. You had to find a love in there somewhere, and we all did. Anybody who stuck with it, we found something that we liked about that music. And I'll be honest, anybody who thinks country musicians suck needs a head adjustment, because they're phenomenal musicians. I mean, you got to think of some of these country musicians, studio guys. I mean, they play on a lot of artists' material. They do world tours and stuff. These are not sludge musicians. So nowadays, the country thing, the country bars, there's a few left, but for the most part, country music is struggling in the city too. Everybody's floating around in limbo, and like I say, the few that are making a steady stream of no, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. But the bars that are actually continuing on with full strength are picking music that personally I'm not attached to. Like I say, the Lop Lops music is different for me, but there is a market for it. It's very, how would I like to say, very Canadian. Which is a great thing. I mean, they promote Canadian talent, and this talent is promoted across Canada. You don't have to go too far, you know, to read about some of these bands traveling across Canada and playing these type of bars. And there's definitely a market for it. It's just, you know, not everybody's taste. But that's irrelevant, because a lot of people's tastes are what that bar plays. So the sad part is the venues locally have not focused in on certain styles of music to see what's winning and what's losing. Right now, I swear, if there was a good rock bar out and got half decent bands in with even a headliner in once in a while, if you had the venue with the size capacity, there's definitely a market for it. And we do have the Rockstar Bar, which is basically in the old Algonquin. They've done a number on that bar. They're doing it downstairs, and it's all good. But the problem I found with bars like that is, one week they'll get one style of music that's heavy rock. The next one, it's totally it's be a country rock band. They confuse their audience. And I've said this on my forum numerous times. When you start confusing your audience, you're going to start losing them. And then you get the flip side. You have bars like Docks, which I used to love playing, but they would book bands on contracts for a year, and then you would see them for 2 years. You were seeing the same band every other week for 2 years, or longer. And that is a poison that can actually ruin the entertainment side of your bar. The other bad thing about that is you get bands that are lazy then, and you'll get a band that oh, I'm booked here now for 2 years, and they never learn new songs. You can set your watch by it. And this city is poisoned by bands that play the same songs over and over and over. It's absolutely horrible. You know how many songs are on the market that people would like? You don't have to stick to the same songs. And your band should learn new songs every week, at least learn one or two. And I'm not going to mention bands' names that I've seen that still to this day play the same songs that I've seen them play 6-7 years ago. It is horrible. That is a bad situation. That shows lack of creativity, and that you're just in it for the money, because to play the same songs and not feed your audience something fresh is that's just sad. So anyways, with the negativity with a lot of these certain people around town, it seems to have faded a little bit. There was a time when it was really horrible, and like I say, you get people attacking you in public verbally, and on these forums. The forums seem to be the worst. Online seems the worst for this city. They just seem to love to hide in the shadows and throw attacks. And like I say, a lot of people like myself, we go into defense mode. And you're going to stick up for your opinions, and you're going to stick to you're going to guard your turf, basically. Some of the forums, including my own now, you basically have to shut off comments, because with whatever good comment you get on a topic that you might have about the local music scene, you will get 5 negative ones that have nothing to do with the topic. They just want to trash you. Going back to Rob Figure's Sioux Metal Scene blog, and they call it a blog. He writes all the time on there, and he's very informative. The sad part that I find about his forum is there's not a lot of correspondence between the people that read it. He has a lot of readers, but you're allowed to comment on the topics, and I have to give him credit, because when you don't get input from your readers, sometimes you can definitely lose your way, but it's hard to get inspiration if you don't hear some feedback. And I find that about the Sioux music scene, that his audience is there, they're reading it. There's no doubt they're reading it, because you can walk around the musicians in the city and they know who Rob is. But it's sad that there isn't more response, and I don't know if it's people are afraid to respond, or it's just not their thing. A lot of people just aren't into public speaking, unlike myself. I mean, I talk all the time, I make videos, I just constantly, I'm in your face. It's just something I was brought up doing. It's not an ego thing like a lot of people seem to believe. It's basically, I just like to talk. That's simple. I just like to talk. I got into creative writing when I was younger, and I just write and write and write. I write songs. I just like to write. And if somebody listens, if somebody gets something I say, that's great. It's just, it's an art form for me too. The media is an art form for me. I just like doing it. It has nothing to do with ego. I don't have to do this. I could play my drums and go touring everywhere, and you never hear a peep out of me. It's just something I like to do. But I also like to support our local music scene. But in the past few years, I've pretty much given up on it. I do promote the odd band, and But there is a negativity that is just horrible in our city. It's really sad. It makes me really sad because I've been playing for 3 decades plus in this city, and I've seen a lot of great musicians, and it's sad that they're not appreciated, and I'm not including myself in that because I don't really do it for that. I do it because I love to play. I don't really do it for the pat on the back. I don't do it for that. I just love music, and I'll promote it, and that means local. It means music I listen to on the radio. It's just I like doing it. But the negative part is it's a lot of these people that do the attacks online, and it really puts people in a corner. They kind of hide in the shadows, and they shouldn't, because I know a lot of musicians that are afraid to actually come out and play because they don't want to be ridiculed, and the city's horrible for it. It's one thing to grade musicians and give your opinions of them. You can go, well, I don't like the way that person did that, or if I'm playing, if someone comes up to me and says, well, you're kind of off on that, and those are comments that are easy to take. It's like, but when you start slamming people beyond that, it gets kind of weird. So anyways, these negative people that come out and try and hurt this, and I think they're hurting the local music scene. They never really come out and show themselves, which is another thing, because of the internet. The internet allows that. It's an unintentional side effect of the internet. People can hide now. They can be really tough bullies behind this internet shield, and it's ruined a lot of good things. I just remember when you would help promote a band. You see them at Rotary Fest on either one of the stages, the all original stage sponsored by Lop Lops, or the main center stage that does cover material. You want to promote them on a site. It's like, well, I like this band, they're really good, but you also have to, we can't go around saying that all bands are great and fluffy and happy, and that's it. I mean, there are negative things. Not all bands play perfect, and some bands don't deserve all the hype. Which I'll get to in a sec. But it's just trying to promote it and help this music scene flourish. That was one of my goals back in the day, and a lot of other people were doing the same thing as me. It's just not me. Like I say, there's Rob Figures, who does amazing work, and the other forums. It might have been the 705 scene, or the music scene. I wish I could remember those other forums, but it's been too many years. They've all seemed to have faded. But everybody was trying to do good work, trying to promote it. And there was a time where you could see the people just reading all these comments and all these forums, because a lot of these forums register how many people are reading these posts. And it was a good thing. And you know what? You would see them all out at the gigs, seeing these bands, and the next day they'd be posting pictures and videos of the band. Oh, I love this band, I love this band. But then it was ruined, it seemed almost overnight. It was pretty quick. So, anyways, so that's basically it. You got the damaged radio station thing. We've got the damaged forum thing. We got the damaged venues, and then we have things like Rotary Fest.